We are back with another episode here, man. Man, I think we're well into episode 100, though. We got Max Lord, 808 Mafia in the building, though. What's good, bro? Well,
Howdy.
actually, you guys got us in the building, I should say.
Yeah, welcome.
What's good, bro?
Shit, I'm just fried in between sessions and
Can you come a little bit closer to the mic?
oh, my bad. Yeah, no, I'm just
So you talk about it, man. So we were just talking, before the cameras were coming out of a 22-hour session. You were working 22 hours. Then
that's on like just day 3 of some sessions this week. I'm kind of burnt right now. Disclaimer to everybody.
Can we disclaim who the session was with?
Yeah, I guess I was working with, I have to be back there in a couple hours with NBA YoungBoy.
Fire.
I guess, yeah. I never really listened to him until I just started working for him, and he's actually a lot doper than I always thought. I'm actually really impressed. I didn't have a very high expectation going in. He's like actually really fire,
bro.
Yeah.
What's it like working with him? Is he a workhorse? Is he chill and then get working in between?
He's actually really nice. I don't know what everyone's perception of him might be from
social media,
what you'll hear, but no, he's actually chill. I fuck with him, but just wasn't what I was expecting to be doing. Like, if you told me like 6 months ago or like a year ago, that's what I was gonna be doing with my Monday in August, I would have not believed it. So,
So
it's been a weird year.
You were sleeping.
For sure.
You slept like what, like 3 hours before we got here? An hour?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. You're just working.
Yeah,
I feel you.
But and that's like engineering too. But we were over there. I was making beats with this dude Fizzle. I don't know if you know if you've ever heard of him. No, he's like, stop playing with that man. Fizzle does a lot of stuff like Desto and Bobby Raps. I'm trying to remember everything. I don't know, he just makes beats with a lot of us. He plays guitar, he's really fire. He just did some stuff on the new Wheezy album. A lot of 03 Greedo stuff and Little Pump. Like, I think he like recorded Gucci Gang. He's not an engineer or anything, but yeah, I've just been making beats with him over like with YoungBoy being late like 10 hours to the session. I was just bored, so I was like, yeah, pull up. So we're sitting there playing guitar and making everything from scratch, and everyone was walking into the session and they're like, wait, y'all making that right now? Y'all just play guitar and do that? Oh, make more of that. And then ended up making some cool songs, just actually cooking up from scratch, which is nice. So that's why it's cool to work with other producers and people that like actually really play instruments, because that's kind of rare sometimes, especially him, where he's just picks up guitar. Actually, his guitar is right here. He left it over here, but just pick up guitar and just within 30 seconds, just have a whole new, really cool song started. That actually sounds like a song instead of just a couple keys on a piano roll or something like that.
That's some real talent shit, bro. Like, I just like seeing guys like just musicians, man, where they can just, go crazy like that on instruments, or like Ryan Leslie. Like, remember those old Ryan Leslie cook-up videos? I always bring those up, like, because that was when I first started becoming a producer. I was looking at them like, yo, like, that's a real producer right there. Like, that's some
especially shit. I feel like that too, because I can't play instruments for shit.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, I can play some fundamental chords on like a bass or a piano, like one note at a time. So I really appreciate when someone has like true musicianship that I'm not coordinated enough to play guitar. Never have been, never will. I can't move my hands like 7 different places at the same time.
My fingers hurt after like 3 minutes anyway.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing. So it's you know, I appreciate someone that can really play music, and you know, because my day job is engineering. That's what I normally do, and I always just made beats for fun, but I always did everything super sample based.
Where
Um, like when I was 15, 16, I had an MPC, and
damn, what kind?
the first one I got an MPC 1000
Okay.
with like leftover weed money that I made, like selling weed in high school. And then after a while, I got an MPC 5000 right when it came out. I think I was like, what, 17 when I got that thing? And I would like steal my parents' car on long weekends. And they'd leave town because I'm from up in the mountains in Colorado.
Okay.
So I'd have to like take their car, save up money, and like drive down to Denver before I had my license and like buy like a stack of records to bring back and sample up at home.
Yeah.
Like literally not have my license. It was like a 4-hour drive.
So like was there also LimeWire and shit like that you could get records from, or was it always just the mystique?
It wasn't as
the
prevalent because I'm like 28 now.
Okay. Yeah, we're the same age. I'm 27.
Oh, dope. And that was like 12 years ago. And it definitely felt different. Like MySpace was a thing. Instagram didn't exist yet by a year or two.
But I remember like
YouTube just didn't have as much shit on it. Because like I'll be scouring YouTube for like old records to like be inspired from, maybe try to like, I don't want to say replay, but just like draw inspiration from like old library music from like French composers from the 70s and like weird shit.
Yeah.
Because back then, like they were releasing music that was literally just with new synthesizers being made, just like literally just playing random shit on cool synthesizers, and it was like new music.
Yeah.
So it might sound kind of boring, but that stuff's actually really cool to listen to. Just like really experimental.
Yeah. Or like even like movie scores and shit. But the reason I asked though, because like, I remember, so we're talking like, 08, 09 type era. And, there was definitely LimeWire and shit. But there was something about like, I was like, oh, I got to get a record player because that's how you really do it. And it's going to sound different.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Versus for sure. Like I was using a Technic. I had a Technic, a little 2-channel mixer, and then MPC over on this side.
See, you had the MP. I would have died for MP back then.
Oh, bro. I was like, man, fuck computers, real hip hop, boom bap shit. Like, only listen to like MF Doom, Madlib.
Okay. What got you into
like
all that
Mobb
stuff?
Deep? Like, I think Havoc is from Mobb Deep is like the illest producer, other than like Madlib and Dilla and those dudes. So, like, I was just super driven by them and all sample based stuff because those guys just flip samples like crazy of like off old records.
What got you into that kind of stuff though?
There was just like this one dude in my area because my town has like 6,000 people.
Oh shit.
So there was like this one kid that moved there from Louisiana who was a little bit older than me, Michael Baden, who like made beats up there. Like he was cool. And there was this other guy named Timeline who moved up there also, who like rapped, and they would like make music that we would like trickle down and hear as younger kids. And I'd hear it and be like, wait, somebody made this shit? Like from here? What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's cool. So I just, always just made shit for fun because the way that especially like what I do now and like being able to eat off making music was something that never as a concept existed to me. Like I didn't know you could make money off music. I never knew, being like some kid from Colorado, that like I could have my name on a fucking back of a record.
Yeah.
Like that was a dream of mine. Like, man, it would be so cool to have a vinyl record and my name on it. That would be crazy. How does that ever happen? And then, you know, fast forward some years later and it's like, there's records I don't even want them to put my name on that I'll have recorded or engineered or mixed because they used the wrong version, rough mix from the session before it got polished up. And it's like, I don't even want my name on it sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like been crazy to see that happen over the years. But I think the main point I was saying there too is that like I just came from looking up to such sample-based producers because, you know, like real hip-hop always was made from old music.
Right.
And finding really cool stuff to sample. And that doesn't exist anymore for whatever reasons.
Well, it does, but
Just-
I think people aren't so much into crate digging and pulling from old records versus like sample packs and stuff, which I feel like is also due to people hearing horror stories about like
sample
publishing
clearance is a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if it's worse or better than it used to be, but you know, that's why the whole I don't call it industry, but that's why the whole culture of these like people that make samples has become a thing.
Right.
For multiple reasons, because, you know, there's some people where you hear their melodies and it's like, and, you know, I make them too. And where some of the stuff sounds like, you know, something you might hear off of a break on an old record. Without having to filter out the drums and have hiss from the vinyl and spend
Right.
4 days digging through a stack of records after spending another 4 days finding those records and then going through them, replacing the head on your record player all the time. So, you know, a lot of us have just kind of found ways to streamline the process
Speed it up, yeah.
while still keeping sampling at kind of the core of beat making.
Right.
And a lot of people that make beats aren't, you know, classically trained musicians by any stretch of the definition of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not a trained musician, you know, like Southside, who I look up to more than anybody. I don't remember him taking piano lessons at any point in his life.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think it's kind of cool that in an ode to the way hip hop was when I was growing up that made me so drawn to it, which it, you know, was some of the rawness of some of the beats that just came from sampling. While the way that we sample has evolved and changed, I think it's really cool that there's people that are like really good musicians, like how I was cooking up with Fizzle, I was talking about, where we're sitting and playing guitar or singing and trying to make something that sounds like an old record.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then bouncing that separate and then treating it like its own song and flipping it into a beat instead of, you know, just playing guitar into it and throwing drums on it. It's like we're still flipping it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Nah, most definitely. But man, let's back it up a little bit here because we kind of like, I appreciate how we naturally just got into conversation here.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna go on tangents, bro.
Nah, you're good, bro. I didn't quite get to give you.
I'm so fucking tired.
I didn't quite get to give you a proper introduction. You know what I mean? Obviously, man, we're talking to Maxwell here from 808 Mafia. And forgive me if I'm getting some of these credits wrong. Let me know. I'm just reading off of Genius right here. A couple of these I was like, because you know I'm used to just looking at like the Spotify credits. So a couple of these I was like, oh shit. For instance, for me, when doing 200 and No Cap on Super Slimy, you were part of those records, which was
yeah. One was with Southside, and the other one with 200 was with Wheezy and Trey Pounds.
Yeah. 200, I love that record. That's just fire.
Too. That's super tight.
And then Southside on Lil Baby's album, you did that with
Southside.
With Southside, fitting right there.
Yeah, very fitting. Most of the stuff I all did was with Southside. That came out like that because, like, I'm an engineer.
Okay.
Like, I'm a fucking nerd about music. And then, like I was saying about beats, like, I always just did that shit for fun. I never expected a goddamn thing out of ever making a beat. Like, I didn't know that was possible. So I don't, like, try to be a producer. just the way I am and move and do some stuff and the people I work with, I come from a background of producing. And that kind of follows me into engineering, whether it's recording for people or mixing, and just having that kind of more creative vision.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, I'll cook up with people, make melodies, you know, kind of paying respect to the sampling side of hip hop that I want to try to keep alive. And especially for people like me and people that might be growing up that like aren't talented musicians. And hip hop was always a thing that wasn't made by musicians to keep other people out. It's like really inclusive where anybody could do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's how like any, or at least most of the production I've been a part of has kind of stemmed from, where like I didn't actively try to do that. I wasn't engineering sessions that I'm sitting there pulling up beats.
Yeah.
Like that shit, all that shit happened completely separate.
Real organic, would you say?
Oh yeah.
And let me name.
Yeah,
a couple
keep
of
going.
them.
I just wanted to, just before I forget to say that.
Man, a whole bunch of Juice Wrld shit. I know you were, you know, real close to Juice.
Yeah.
Which we'll definitely talk about that. Were you like his main engineer at one point?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like my best friend the last couple of years, and someone that was just, I'm just so honored to have been able to work with throughout the course of his career, and just witness and be a part of something truly historic and special happen, for sure. Because, you know, before he blew up and had all his first big stuff come out, like he like came out with G Money and G Herbo. Sorry, shout out Topo Chico.
What is that fancy water you're drinking?
Yeah,
is that water?
Mexican sparkling water, bro. It's just, you want?
Shit, I'll try one. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll get you one in a second. It's just fire.
So it's not seltzer. It's not seltzer, is it? Not to go off topic.
It's like club soda, like sparkling water.
The non-sweetened one.
Yeah, it's not sweetened,
bro.
It's a real deal.
Okay, never mind. I don't want one.
But
hold on, real quick to talk about that. What's the attraction to those? Because maybe I just tried the wrong one.
I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
No, I know it's playing.
Oh shit.
I don't know. It was cold and in the fridge.
You drink those too, bro? Maybe I gotta try that one. I've tried seltzer.
It's an acquired taste.
Okay.
There's no taste. It's water.
Like I don't like tonic.
It's not tonic. It's just
It's
water.
not tonic?
It's water with bubbles in it.
I think it's just sparkling
It's just
water.
sparkling water.
Okay. Then I think I've tried like tonic seltzer. So maybe I
You
mean,
know,
shit,
tonic is
Regular
disgusting.
water that's carbonated, it's fire.
I'll try it. I'll definitely try one.
We got you. I got a hot sauce challenge for you too.
We'll do a little tasting session.
Yeah.
I fuck with hot sauce too. But yeah, back to Juice Wrld though. I just had to clear.
But yeah,
the
so
table
like G Money brought him out, and we were working on Swervo with Southside, and they were all staying over at Southside's house with us.
Or
And like I'm sharing like a bedroom the size of this table, damn near, with like a twin size bed and a tiny little desk with like, you know, a bunch of recording equipment on it. Just in a little bedroom in the house, just because we'd be working over there. And we were like, no one was really like, he came to a session and did a song on a beat that Southside had, and you know, a lot of us are just like, this kid's dope, cool, but like it was kind of, you know, on the back burner just because we were in the middle of finishing up Swervo. And
because there's a lot of people that come and go in sessions that are dope, but you just
you know, kids that not even kids, just people that like, you know, look, I learned a lesson from Juice that, you know, I just hope everybody can appreciate, is that, bro, you can't doubt a single fucking soul's potential for what they might be able to do. Like, this kid was high as hell, just kind of not causing trouble, but like, you know, he was like 17, 18, high, just chilling, sitting around, not really doing nothing. Like, oh man, I want to record, whatever. You know, like everyone be saying shit like that. And then, so we were working at the studio, and then like, well, when we were back at the house, you know, Southside raps all the fucking time. So, you know, we'd be up for like days recording Southside, and Juice would be just like sitting on like the little bed behind us in the little room, and be like, hey, like, let me record, bro, please, come on. And then Fizzle, even Southside would turn around and be like, hey, bro, like, watch how it's done, bro. I got you. Because, you know, not knowing who's really sitting behind him yet. Mm-hmm. Like, and, you know, like, he was just so persistent that, like, one morning, like, I'm just as tired and fucking out of it as I am right now, probably worse. And I'm just like, all right, little bro, let's try some shit. And then make a song. I'm like, I don't know what that was, but this shit is fire. You just shit out that song like so quick and sang your heart out. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, a bottle and a half of Hennessy later, we're like fucking 5-6 songs in, and like one sitting of songs that, you know, ended up being on that Goodbye and Good Riddance tape.
Fire.
And you know, it's just, and then a few months later, you know, he called me and was like, hey, bro, I got my own studio session. Pull up on me. I'm like, what? Hell yeah. And, you know, never really left him after that. Because he was just actually like, at least from an engineering perspective, like, something just felt different. Because at one point when that was going on, like I was like staying with Offset and Cardi, and I think it was around when they were wrapping up Cardi's album, and I'm pretty much telling Set like, "Yo, I'm gonna go work with this kid y'all have never heard of. I feel something's going on here." And he's like, "Bro, you fucking crazy? Like, hell no, you ain't leaving." I'm like, "Bro, sorry, like I'm out." And then a couple years later, like back in January, December this year, you know, Seth was like, "Bro, I thought you was fucking crazy, but like I respect the fuck out of what you did and going and doing that with Juice, and I'm happy you did that because y'all really did something." So it was, you know, I'm just happy to have been able to seen what was really there, not like just blow off somebody that, you know, ended up being who I think is probably the most talented musician that I might ever see in my life. And just learn that lesson of never doubt nobody, because you never really know what someone's capable of. Because there was another time too, like in that beginning stage where like I was Southside of Miami, and he like vanishes for a couple days. Like I don't know where he went. I thought he went to Atlanta. He said he was somewhere. I don't know. But Juice called like, "Hey, I'm going on tour in Europe, bro. Like, meet me in Germany tomorrow." I'm like, "Dude, I'm sitting in fucking Florida. Hell yeah." So I said, "Hey, G2, I'm going to Europe tomorrow, bro." He's like, "What? That's fire. Yo, Chaz, I'm going to Germany, bro. I'm out." And then just like dip. I get a call from Southside like 2 days later. And we're in a studio in Berlin in Germany. And it like rings on my computer and I answer it. And it's Southside screaming. And I'm sitting in the room with like Juice, his cousin Sean, his homie Chris. And he's like, "Maxwell, where the fuck you at, bro? I'm gonna fucking beat your ass, bro. I just got back. You fucking gone." I'm like, "Bro, I'm in Germany." "What you mean you in fucking Germany, bro? Get your ass back here right fucking now," blah, blah, blah. Like tweaking, going crazy on me. Juice is sitting there like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on?" Because like when Southside gets mad, that shit's fucking scary. Like, don't get him mad at you. So that was just like, there was just like so many just funny little things that happened with starting to work with Juice that was like, it was just comedy. But yeah. So
yeah,
that's what I just had going on for the last couple of years, was just doing everything with him.
So how is it like being an engineer, balancing like, so you see this young talent and stuff like you vibe with and you want to work with, but you kind of have your obligations to the people you already are working with?
That's what I was kind of trying to touch on, is like, I literally just kind of stiffed like some of the top people in the game to be like, because I can't explain what Juice had talent-wise and workflow-wise and potential, that, and just the energy and vibe I got off him as a friend was like I meshed really well with Southside, and being able to record with him and work with him, make beats with him, kind of on that level of like something just feels different. Like it clicks, it works.
Yeah.
But Juice just had something that just, it was almost like on some cult shit. Like this man just was like Jesus, and I had to follow him. Without even having to say anything out loud. I could just tell there was something special, and like literally like said, screw you, set, sorry Cardi, I'm going to work with this dude, sorry Fizzle, I got to go do this. And with Southside, like we're working with everybody, working Thug, Future, I mean, I don't even, just fucking everybody on earth with him. And then I had never just worked with like one artist before. I'd always been running around with like Southside, or I guess I did do a lot with like Fredo Santana for a while, but that was while always doing stuff with Southside. So like I'd never just truly been locked into working with like one artist, like one rapper. I'd always bounce around with Southside, or even if it was with Fredo coming over to my house all the time, I'd still, Sosa would be pulling up, and like back at that time, like Keith 8, just like random people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I definitely had to like make a conscious decision to like not work with a lot of people to be able to work with him, because we were touring for like on and off constantly for like a year and a half, 2 years.
So what I'm getting just from this little conversation we've had so far, what I'm getting with you is I feel like it's more about, it seems like you really get joy from just being in the moment, making good music. Or is it more that,
no,
or is it more like analytical? Like, oh, nah, I see something with this kid. I gotta stay with him because he's gonna be crazy. Like, what is it more of?
So, I personally like just enjoy making music, and enjoy making good music, and I think that's where like I personally might differ from a lot of like, whether it's producers or engineers, but there's a lot of people, especially in the engineer world, that just be like nickel and diamond shit and just being like really trying to be opportunistic.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, I got to work with the biggest person.
Yeah.
To get my rates up and charge them this. And I'm charging this an hour, and y'all were here for fucking 11 hours and 59 seconds. Like on some super
business minded.
It's like business minded, but with like short sightedness attached to it.
Yeah, okay.
Because like I said, bro, I never, when I was younger and just making beats in my bedroom, recording my homies back at home, like I didn't know you could, like, I never expected in my life you could make money off music, let alone have your fucking name listed on the back of a record.
Yeah.
Like that shit is just, it still feels kind of weird to me. Like if I get a royalty check in the mail every time, I'm still like, I get like butterflies in my stomach, just like, bro, I didn't know this existed. This is so crazy.
Well, let's take it back. So before you got into making beats, like what did you think your life was going to be? Did you have college plans? Like what was your whole like What was your first
Dude,
dream? What'd you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to like race mountain bikes.
Okay.
Honestly, like I was racing like semi-professional, like downhill mountain biking.
Oh, that's dope.
And I was
Sounds
like,
kinda
I was
dangerous.
like into photography.
Okay.
So like, I like didn't finish high school all the way because I was like getting in trouble all the time and got pulled out, and then like kind of started college, and like it was pretty much in like photo school in Denver. And then I was like taking pictures out at like concerts, and like in Denver in 2011, like dubstep was like the shit.
Yeah.
So I was like 17, 18 and just got like really absorbed into like the EDM and like dubstep world.
Were you like into
For like
going to raves
5,
and shit
6
like that?
years? Hell yeah, bro. I was weird. Just like taking mescaline and
Real
acid
hippie.
and just fucking rolling and just going fucking raves and warehouse parties and like weird Burning Man shit all the time.
So yeah, I could
And,
definitely,
like,
I could definitely,
DJing,
I could definitely catch your vibe, man. Like I said, like I feel like you really enjoy just being in the moment, making good music, like
Yeah.
rock star lifestyle. Fuck it, 22 hours, let's work, let's do it, type of shit.
And everything just kind of followed in that because I've just never put money first. I just like making music. You know, I'm, you know, a fortunate person where I didn't have like a really like hard upbringing. But like I've been working since I was 12 still, like always worked in restaurants, bike shops, allegedly sold weed for
Allegedly.
a long ass time.
Yeah,
Like I probably made more money in high school than I do now.
yeah.
Like, you know, working in a nice restaurants, you know, allegedly selling weed to all the dudes in the kitchen, and then like getting off at midnight and then just like hustling the rest of the night, like another like half pound just broken down into like eighths and quarters and shit. So like,
Real trapping.
yeah, I might have been, and then like making beats back at home. Like I was probably doing more when I was like 16 than I am now.
Yeah. See, man, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly envy that trait right there, because a lot of times I feel like I overanalyze, I overthink shit, and it's like, you know, for instance, like something like this, like a podcast, like I really do get joy out of sitting here having these conversations with producers like you and just, you know, hearing your come up story. But I kind of forget that shortly after, and then I'm back to like, oh, being analytical. Oh, we got to line up these guests.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be like
time.
that though. If you want to, like, once you get to a point where this is what you do,
Yeah.
you have to treat yourself like a business. You have to take yourself seriously. You have to schedule, and you know, at a certain point, you become a business of a sort.
Yeah.
You know, but like as long as you actually like enjoy doing what you're doing and are doing it for a reason that makes you happy to do it, then like it's never really going to feel like work. Like, you know, you might not want to do everything. Like I'll get called for sessions to be like, that sounds like a lot of work. I don't want to do that, like shit like that. But at the end of the day, like
yeah.
I'm just happy to be making music.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, flashback to like a situation with Juice Wrld was like, he was on that same tip. He did not give a fuck about the money he was making at all. Most of his songs, like stuff that people haven't gotten to hear, is just like, we would sit around as like a bunch of trap producers and like dudes from Chicago making like pop music for no fucking reason. Like bang out 5 pop songs with no swear words.
Damn.
With like incredibly intricate lyrics and like storylines. And then after doing 5 of those, like cut on a DY beat and just make like the most gangster shit ever, like of him just popping shit the whole time. And then like trying new stuff, because like that's what motivates me, is like I want to try new things, experiment with music, like. And you know, we're like I would be like tweaking, because you know Juice loved us since like Day Wave, Tame Impala, like, you know, kind of psychedelic rock stuff. And like I always liked like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, and he liked that shit too. So I would like try to figure out how to do and incorporate like some of the mixing effects that they would use.
Okay.
So I remember I like cracked the code on how to make Tame Impala sound and shit. I'm like, yo, Juice, come here. I figured it out.
Yeah.
I figured out the Day Wave shit. Then he was like, what? And then just like instantly make a song that's like psychedelic rock type rap music. But it's like not even rap music. It's just cool. And just doing shit just purely based off of the joy of just making music.
Yeah.
And that definitely gets lost. Like so many producers, so many rappers, so many creative people, labels, A&Rs, so many people only see dollar signs. And that shit really kind of makes me sad sometimes. And I'm, you know, happy as hell for people that are just dumb successful, like making, whether it's making beats or rapping, like if you got it, I'm happy for you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to be like that, you know? Like, why wouldn't I? But at the end of the day, like, I never expected none of this shit. I never knew this shit existed. And I'm just thankful to be able to, like, make music. And, like, I wouldn't, you know, like, I don't look at it as a job where it's like, oh, I need to make millions. I do this to become rich or whatever. Like, no, I just make music because I like making music. I don't know what else I'd do. I didn't finish school and I made music the whole time is what I'm the best at doing.
So were you ever like, oh, I want to be a millionaire someday? Because that was real prevalent with me. Like when I was young, I was like, yo, bro, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be rich. But not everyone I talk to really is like, has that same
Not everyone's like that.
Yeah.
Like,
which I feel like everyone's like that.
I never really thought about that. Cause like if I wanted to do something with my life to become a millionaire and become rich, I wouldn't have gotten into making music. Like, period. Because even if the money might be good, sometimes it's a fucking pain in the ass to get. Nothing is easy. No one wants to pay you out. No one wants to do anything properly.
Yeah.
Whether it's a label, whether it's an artist, like, even if they're not doing it on purpose, like, because a lot of, you know, even if you're like an engineer, like a lot of engineers get kind of punked out of being paid a lot just because even the artists, like, you know, somebody might have like really made it for themselves, come up out of the trenches, overcame a lot of adversity and made a lot of money they feel real attached to and are like, it's hard for them to part with. Even if they're paying for something that somebody did in the service, it's like a lot of people's time isn't equally respected.
Yeah.
And it's like an uphill battle to try to get paid by labels, by artists, by all sorts of people until you're really an established person in there that has a reputation for not being able to be pushed over that easy. So it's like not fun dealing with that shit, but like, you know, I'm at a point where it's like I make music for a living. So like I have to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I try as hard as I can to not let that cloud my brain as far as making music goes. Because like I said, I didn't get into it for money. A lot of people did. A lot of people saw like, damn, I can steal a bunch of software and off a computer I stole from my high school lab.
Yeah, allegedly.
And allegedly download a bunch of software and like make a hit song and make beats and you know, it's like a way out of a struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people are dumb fucking talented, make really dope music. But my intentions behind everything and my driving force that makes me do stuff just didn't come from that same place. So I just think making music is fucking cool. I think being able to like call Interscope and yell at them about some shit, fucking up a mix or getting something mastered wrong, like that's just kind of funny to me. being able to like make a phone call like that. Like, oh yeah, I can get Interscope online. Like, whoop. If I told myself that like 8 years ago, I would have laughed at myself. So it's definitely cool, but like I just try to, keep stuff for the right reasons. For me personally, at least.
Yeah, you definitely got to find joys in the little nuances and stuff like that. It's not, like you said, it's not always about the money. I like how we're painting this picture here non-linearly. If that's the way to say it. Like I like how we're kind of tapping back to the story, your come up story, versus a lot of times I end up doing it linearly, and I think it comes off more interesting when we're able to branch off like this. So, the picture so far that you painted me is grew up in the mountains of Colorado, kind of just this like, rock star, trippy hippie lifestyle. You get into making beats and stuff, all for the love of making beats. What was like your first step into the industry?
Honestly, on some funny shit. Like, cause I'd always like done stuff with like homies in the bedroom type vibes, like nothing serious. But after like 5 years of just being in like the dubstep and EDM world, I like came out here for like a meeting. Like my dad met somebody who he said like, oh yeah, my son is into making music, and then like lined up some like just meeting to talk to some guy that works at Paramount, like on some random shit, or he met, I think, who met like Chris Lord Alge, like the mix engineer.
Goat right there, yeah.
But I had no idea who the fuck he was. Like I didn't know what that shit was. I was like 16 at the time.
I only know him from the Waves plugins. That's how
the dude from the Waves plugins.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I was able to like go like talk to him, and I'm like in there explaining to him about like making beats on MPC. Like I have no like I don't know what all the shit in the studio does. Like I don't know shit about what engineering is, what mixing is.
At that point,
at that point. Okay. And then, I'm back in Denver. I moved to England for a little bit, and then come back, and then like drive out to LA to have like another kind of like meeting like that. And then I just was crashing at my sister's house and just never drove back home and just stayed out here. And over the course of time, like I was just out here partying, going to like warehouse parties and raves and shit. And then a friend of mine named Champagne Drip is his DJ name. He invited me to like a session, like a songwriter session he had up in Burbank. So I went up there, but he needed a ride. So I like drove him up there. He's like, yeah, I know you're into this sort of stuff. Like you should like tag along. I'm like, all right. So they were like working on music for My Little Pony. And it was like a bunch of like dubstep DJs and like drug addict fucking producers with like straight edge songwriters thrown in a room to make music for like some new fucking gender ambiguous DJ pony on the show.
Okay.
It was some weird fucking situation, but like the engineer they had there had like just broken his leg and was like hopping around the studio to adjust the mic and shit on one foot. And I'm like, yo, do you like need help? He's like, yeah, that'd be great, actually. And then started assisting for him. So then I was getting learning Pro Tools and being thrown into these like pop sessions for like DJ White Shadow, who's like, it was all like Lady Gaga's producers.
Okay.
Like on some like real pop shit and like doing demo songs for like big people. So like I kind of learned how to use Pro Tools and record people like in a professional way all through pop music. Mm-hmm. While at the same time I'm having like Fredo Santana pretty much living at my house.
How'd you even meet Fredo?
Lean. And then like my roommate at the time was like a lean head, and then we went to like pick some shit up and meet up, and we were wound up at Hurt Boy's house. And then I walk in there, bro. I had never heard of Fredo Santana. I have no idea who the hell he is. I like don't really know much about Chief Keef. Like I didn't know shit about the current state of rap music at the time.
Yeah. You were more into the dubstep shit. and
Yeah, like I didn't
Old
know
school hip-hop.
shit what was going on. And I walk in, I just hear some like bad music being played. Like it was around the time Fredo had like that Double Cup song just come out. So I walk in there just on some like lean escapade, and I'm literally like, yeah, what the fuck are y'all listening to? This shit sounds horrible. Y'all like polluting the air with this shit. Like I was saying some wild shit.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like the fucking record skit, like skirt, and like Fredo turns around and is like, huh? The fuck you say? Make it sound better then. I'm like, I'll try. So then I just like sit down and tweak with the song for like 20, 30 minutes and make it sound better. And then they're like, oh shit, do that to this song. And then just started doing shit with Fredo.
Damn.
And then
that was a bold way to.
oh, I should have died. I should not have walked out of that room. But luckily I'm still here and became really close with him. And then in the process too, I met DY. I don't know if it was over at Hurt Boy's house. I think it was over at Hurt Boy's. And then I had this studio spot we were able to use for like a couple $100 a night. And so like he would start coming over there. And then he ended up doing like a tape with Fredo, that Fredo Mafia tape.
Okay.
So I was just working a lot with DY and Fredo essentially to get into what I do now. And then throughout that process, you know, being around Fredo, meeting like Chief Keef and everybody, and then with DY, he was like, "Oh man, Sizzle gonna love this spot." I'm like, "Who?" Like I really had no idea who anybody was.
Yeah.
So then at some point, DY brings Southside over, and then, you know, like at that point, I'm used to like pop sessions where it's like we're working on one song for 12 hours, 2 days, perfecting every little layer, every little thing about it. So Southside comes over. I have no idea who he is. This dude sits down, cooks up 20 of the hardest fucking beats I've ever heard in my life. Like, period. And then right after that, he's like, all right, let's record. And then knocks out like 14 songs.
Damn.
In like 12 hours. And all the songs were good as fuck too. So I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, people work like this? Like, this is crazy. And then, and like, I'm just trying to keep up because I'm not really that good at engineering at that point. You know, I'm used to Fredo speed. Like, we're doing like a song a day, maybe half a song a day. Like, cause he had to like really try to get music out. So I'd never seen someone like Southside just come in and like make music at that speed. I was just amazed. So I just kept doing shit with him.
That's that Gucci Atlanta.
Yeah, and something that was really cool about Southside is that, like, you know, a lot of people don't realize it, but he's an incredible rapper.
Not fact.
Like, really fucking good rapper. And you know, like, he's recorded thousands of songs. Like, he's sitting on so much fucking music of himself that he made. And I don't know if he does it for fun. Some stuff gets released, like, but he's like practicing. He's learning what do I need in a beat? How do I need to make my beats for people? And while it's all going on, I'm able to learn how to record and how to keep up, how to add the effects, how to do certain things. And I'm essentially learning how to use Pro Tools and engineer with him while he's rapping.
Let me pause you real quick while we're on this subject.
Yeah.
For the engineers out there, man, what are some gems you can give without? I know we don't got Pro Tools pulled up, but how can people speed up their workflow, man, so they're keeping up with artists? Okay,
well, that's like the name of the game right there.
Yeah.
Because at first, like, I was not very quick, but like, speed is everything. And and being able to make split-second decisions of what you need to do is everything. So I think I see a lot of engineer people that like, you know, they're like, oh yeah, I learned Pro Tools a little bit, and they'll be around and they're just trying to like plug beats and just kind of do some, like,
It's not for
I'm
the
a
love of
fucking nerd about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I stay up and read articles and like hardware manuals for compressors and equalizers, and like learn about each piece of equipment, what it does, when to use it, how to use it, why to use it.
Passion.
Whether it's in an old Yamaha book from the 80s, whether it's in a manual for a Neve compressor, like there's a lot of gems. Even like the Universal Audio, like the UAD, like the Apollo everyone uses, you know, they're like an incredible plugin company. The manuals they have for the gear, because all the gear or all the plugins that they make are models of actual hardware units.
Emulation type shit.
And they have all those real manuals for the
for the old school gear.
For the old school gear.
Okay. That's a gem.
As the manual for their gear, because it's the real licensed model of it.
Right.
And then on top of that, they've got tips, presets, so you can go and see like you can do an EQ preset for a guitar. Why is it at those frequencies? And then play around with them and see how it shapes the sound, and it starts to make sense to you. So you know when to do certain things, why to do certain things, and paying attention all the time to how sound works. You know, like when I was in Denver and doing dubstep shit, like I was setting up sound systems, building PA systems, and running sound checks. And I was able to like hear the same song in hundreds of places on hundreds of different speakers and see how it reacted and sounded differently in different places. And then like I might go make adjustments on that to see how it sounds next time I'm able to play it on a big sound system. And just paying attention to like how music reacts to different sound systems, different environments, different rooms. And just being a fucking nerd about it. Like at the end of the day, you can't replace hundreds and thousands of hours of studying.
Yeah, right.
And practice, because at the end of the day, it's everything. And that's why I cherish being able to work with like Southside and Fredo as closely as I did when I first met them, because I was practicing, I was learning, and they were letting me learn while working with them. Because, you know, Southside moved so fast, like, you know, he would be yelling at me like, bro, come on, like, go faster. Like, why can't you double up the beat like this? Like, I'm like, bro, I'm trying, I'm learning, I'm going to get it. And for some reason, he had the patience to kind of let me, you know, do that. Maybe I had a good ear and the shit sounded good, but like I had to really learn how to speed up and learn shortcuts, make split-second decision. What kind of compressors need and why, in what order to make this voice sound good? How am I going to add the effect he just asked for, like that?
Yeah.
How am I going to structure all my files so that I can pull up a certain beat? I can know the tempo and the key to plug in the auto-tune and everything like that. You have to be doing everything split-second decisions, because then like, yo, we're going over, we got Young Thug coming over. First time that happened, I'm shitting my pants. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not Alex Toomey, bro. Fuck. And then being able to like survive that was like a moment where I'm like, okay.
Was it easier or harder than you thought it would be?
Both. But I mean, that was kind of early on for me, but like now at this point, like I'm just excited about that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But you know, at first it's like, it's scary.
Yeah.
So you could fuck up once and just be kicked out of the room and no one ever like want to do shit with you. Like, you know, Thug used to chump people off and engineers off like crazy. So just my advice to anyone wanted to do that is like, you got to want to do it and like spend the time learning about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fundamentals of the shit. And then at the end of the day, like experience is everything. Like if I wasn't able to just sit around and make music with my friends or do shit with Southside or do shit with Fredo and try doing stuff and experiment, I wouldn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can't replace experience. But like you don't have to be in the room with a A-list person to get experience by any means. You just have to try and not be scared to try.
Yeah, I think the passion's big too, because even on my show, like I always kind of preach to producers like that are looking for how can I network? I'm like, you know, there's a great benefit to engineering because there's always a need for engineers. There's engineering and picking up a camera and having that skill set that can get you into rooms. But at the same time, you know, it's like you can't just have that. You got to have that good intention. Like you can't just be like, you know, I hate this engineering shit. I hate cameras, but I'm using it as a tool. There's got to be some kind of passion for it.
I mean, for sure. Like I'm at a point right now personally where I'm like, man, because like being a mix engineer and being a recording engineer are like two different things.
Right.
Like you have to be a recording engineer to become a mix engineer, but like being just a mix engineer is someone that just gets to like, you're on your own schedule, you're mixing projects, and like it's like a prestigious thing.
Yeah.
And then being a recording engineer, it's like you're putting in the crazy ass hours with maybe crazy ass people, maybe getting in crazy ass situations in Atlanta at 4 a.m. outside of a strip club, whatever the fuck it is. But it seems
for you, it sounds like that's where the
I
joy
mean,
is.
It's like
more fun.
It's fun. It's interesting. You learn a lot, but like I was just at a point like 6 months ago, like right after Juice passed away, I was like, all right, bro, I haven't been on my own schedule in like 5 years. Like, I just want to be on me time for a little bit and try to transition into mixing more.
Was it like a burnout moment kind of thing?
Not a burnout. I lost like a lot of drive and inspiration after Juice passed because.
That's understandable though.
Not only because, you know, Fredo passed away too. And I like, that was my fucking brother. So that was painful for its own reasons. But, you know, no offense, like, you know, the music wasn't the kind of shit that I was doing with Juice. You know, that was all for personal reasons, not just personal and like, wow, I feel like I'm contributing to the culture of the earth by making what I'm making with Juice. Like this shit was just different.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just really wasn't like, I was like going back with Migos and shit. And I was like, man, I'm just like, you know, I love making music with these guys. I love Migos music, but like, I don't feel like I'm breaking any new ground here. Not breaking any barriers. Like I'm just sitting here working and it feels like work. Instead of feeling like, man, I'm making some shit. It felt like work. So I've just kind of, over the last like month or two, just really been getting back into doing sessions like with people instead of just mixing from home and like making beats with people again.
Where are you at with it now?
Like I said, like I've just been like recording with YB all this week. I was doing shit with Southside's artist, Raw Youngin, a couple weeks ago. I feel bad. I've kind of been like dodging Offset. I just didn't feel like being over there. Like I've really just been trying like not to work in person as much. We were doing a lot of like mixing stuff for the humorous, how the fuck you say that?
Post-hum.
Yeah, so for that Juice album and then some like singles that came out. So I was like spending a lot of time mixing and trying to put a lot of care into some songs I had to mix. So Yeah, and I just went to Colorado for a few months and said, like, fuck everybody. I'm gonna go fucking hike in the woods and go trip mushrooms for a few weeks.
I swear I was just about to say eat shrooms. I swear.
Yeah, and just kind of reset. So I just got back out to California like a few weeks ago to just kind of like get back into work mode.
So was that little break and stuff you took that was good? Benefit came from it?
It was good, bro. Everyone should trip more often. It definitely helps clear your mind out.
It's been hella long for me, bro. It's been like 6-7 years.
Yeah, you need to go
I'm
up
almost
into
like nervous.
You need to go to the woods with like a quarter of mushrooms. Shit's healthy for you.
Back some good scenery or some shit.
Yeah. It's almost fall. It's time to do it. And all the leaves are changing.
Facts.
Shit looks crazy.
Tap back in with the world, man, with the universe.
Yeah.
Not for sure. So yeah, I mean, the last thing I'm gonna ask about the engineering thing, I've always wanted to ask someone. You fuck with those little ball wheel mouses?
Hell yeah, I keep mine in my bag.
Why do engineers love those so much, bro? I've tried to use them, bro. I can't get into it.
Keep that shit right here. Within reach. My baby. Make beats with it, do everything, bro. I can go so fast. Like,
To me, I'm like,
I can scroll through an entire session. You can throw that shit so you can scroll the whole session.
yeah.
You can throw the ball, the pointers, boom, it's right there. You just have so much control. You got like 4 buttons to click on shit. You can assign all the buttons to do different stuff. It's like having a SCUF controller. Like if you playing PlayStation, this is a SCUF controller
I don't know
for
what
the
that is.
computer. It's the controller. It's got all like the extra paddles and buttons on it
Oh, for
that
real?
aren't supposed to be there. It's kind of cheating, but not really. So you can be like doing crazy jump shots and all this stuff that like people be doing in Call of Duty. This is just a SCUF controller for a computer. So like I got used to it and I'm so happy I did. And also it's supposed to be like good for your wrist or some shit so you don't get carpal tunnel.
Yeah, moving. And
I don't really care about this shit. It's just fast.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be fast in Pro Tools, you have to use this shit.
Certain brand you recommend?
I don't know if it's patented, but Kensington makes these things. Actually, they tried to sponsor me. Shout out Kensington.
Oh shit. Lock it in, man.
But
yeah, I just always wondered what it is about. I mean, I figured it was a speed thing.
it's a speed thing, but it's also like a ergonomic health thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is the main purpose of it. But yeah, you got to learn how to use one of those. Like regular mouses are like hard for me to use now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely weird. So
Definitely, man. So yeah, man. I mean, shit. Looking back at these records, you know what I mean? Obviously, we covered, Juice and everything, man. So when you first started working with Southside, when was that? Like what year around?
maybe 2016, I think.
Okay. So pretty recently, fairly.
Yeah, bro. Like I haven't been in the current game I'm in. Like, no, maybe it was 2015.
Okay.
Well,
that's a big difference. I'm just playing.
I mean, it is. A lot of shit happened in those 2 years.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been doing it forever by any means. Like I've been kind of involved in music in different ways for 12 years at least, but like in the current form of what I do, yeah, it's only been since like 2015.
Or
And like really on a comfortably professional level for like since 2017. And then actually really feeling comfortably a professional maybe over the last like 2.5 years. Just like, I think just after working with a number of people that like I would normally or would have used to be like shitting my pants having to work with them because I think I'm not going to be able to do it. Whether it's like Thug or Uzi or like Cardi B.
what's the most important?
Like-
Is it their auto-tune setting? What's the most like intimidating thing or like the most important thing in working?
It's I don't even know how to explain it, bro. Just like not being a weirdo. Like, because it's a really personal interaction you have. Like, for example, on some like Cardi B songs that I was working on, like she's walking, like I have studios set up at their house, and she's like walking downstairs in a bathrobe, literally, to like go like record a song at like 9 a.m. Like, it's just like it's personal shit. So just being able to be cool, interact, like not be a weirdo and not just be thirsty trying to plug your own beats. Like, cause like if I go into a session, like I'm a producer, but if I'm going somewhere to record, like I'm working, like I'm being paid to record. So I'm not going there to play my beats. So if like Atlantic hires me for a session, I'm not going to go to a session to work with that artist and then just be like, yo, you got to do my beats, dog. Like, no, I'm there to do what like you guys need me to do. So I think being able to like know your role and like know what you're actually there to do is important. And then, because like people that do too much is way worse than not doing enough. Like doing too much is like, it's just annoying.
What are some key doing too much moments?
Like I was just saying, bro, like engineers trying to have some scheme going on to pull up certain beats and get artists on beats for their homies or for themselves or whatever, instead of just like instead of just working for the artist that you're supposed to be there with. Okay. Like you're supposed to be helping them achieve what they want to achieve. I want to like working on Playboi Carti was like a big thing to me. Like that was fun. And it's like, I'm not there for me. I'm there for him. I'm there to help him get whatever he's thinking or feeling out and into the computer. So like, that's like what your job is. It's like, how can you help the artist get their idea out and into the world? Because while it's in their head, that shit doesn't exist yet. So whatever you can do to help them be comfortable to put it out through words and into the microphone and into the computer and actually capture it well and pristine and high quality and in a way to format it into like a good song, like that's what you're there to do. You're there to help the artists make their music. It's not about me. It's 100% about the artist. And I'm there on behalf of Interscope, like, or even as a homie to Playboi Carti, it's like, I'm not there to, like, they didn't call me like, yo, Max, we want you to pull up to play beats for us. And like, no, it's like, yo, come record Carti. Or Carti call like, hey bro, come on, pull up. Like, my job is to help them. It's not to help me. So I think people definitely do get that twisted, and that is doing too much.
What about giving input and being like, I didn't like that take, or you could do
people
that better?
Appreciate that. They do. Because, there's a lot of like yes men in the world. Yeah. And on top of that, there's a lot of the people are like scared to speak their mind sometimes. Like, I don't know if it's always a good thing, but sometimes it is. But like, I speak my mind. If I think something's bad, I'll tell someone like, yo, that shit sucks. Like, I mean, but you got to be able to explain why you think that. Like, if you just say like, oh, that sucks. Like, they'll be like, why'd you say it sucks? Like, what's wrong with it? What should I do? And then actually have constructive criticism. But like, you gotta be able to get that across properly. Like, because that's part of helping the artist get the song out. Like, they might ask you like, yo, like, do you think that take was good? And then like a lot of people might be like, yeah, it's great, because they don't know any better. But it's like, I know you could do better. Like, something about it, like, just didn't give me that feeling. Say it a little stronger, maybe try it in a lower tone. Try to go like, duh, instead of the note you were doing was like kind of out of key a little bit. Like, just being constructive instead of just being an extra just an extra body filling space in the room, breathing air, not doing anything, instead of, being willing to help.
I feel like it's like a fine balance between, obviously, on the spectrum of all the way to being a yes man, like, or yeah, man, that sounds great. Like, and being able, okay, well, you're kind of useless. I can't ask you for your opinion. But then there's also, and I find this a lot with older engineers. Shout out to the older engineers. I don't want to make them mad, but like guys that may be like, oh yeah, I recorded Metallica and I recorded these guys, and like you ask them their opinion, and they're kind of, and then or maybe they're just like super vocal about giving their opinion, or you should do it like this, and it's like, bro, this is not kind of what we're going for, and they kind of like try to produce the record. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, their job was so much more demanding.
Yeah.
Like when you were recording a whole fucking band with like a wall of guitar amplifiers and 40 microphones going into the console, and like recording to tape and not into a computer, like those guys deserve to be able to say whatever the fuck they want.
Mm.
Like the guys that were recording Metallica can say whatever the fuck they want to anybody, because they were doing some shit that is not easy.
Mm.
Like I couldn't even imagine doing that shit. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. So like miking up drum kits properly, like 12 different microphones with a specific microphone sounds right for each part of the drum set and each part of the room. Like it's like that shit's just so complicated. So older engineers can talk as much shit as they want. They have every right to, because they came from a very different time before computers made everything easy. And before we were all making beats in computers and using one channel on the board to have one microphone chain go through.
Yeah. Like
our shit's easy comparatively. There's still a lot you can fuck up, but like, they can say whatever they want, and then tying that back into like constructive criticism or not being a yes man. It's like people appreciate that, like, especially someone they've got to sit there and make the song with, is like, because they can ask like, yo, is this good? Was the delivery on that good? And being able to, respond honestly and not being afraid to say yes either. Like, I'm not just going to say no every time. Like if something's good, like, yeah, bro, that was good. Like, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't perfect, but like sometimes you got to be able to tell, like, I don't want him to get stuck trying to say this bar 20 times. Like, he said it. If we need to come back and change it after, I'd rather us keep moving to finish the song. Because, sometimes it feels like a long process when somebody just gets stuck on a bar for 10 minutes at a time, and then a minute later gets stuck on another bar for another 10 minutes. It's like, that's when it starts getting kind of like, okay, this is starting to feel like work a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of like when shit's just moving quick and you're able to keep that energy going.
What about like towards the end of a long ass session where nothing sounds good, nothing sounds bad, you're just burnt? Like, have you ever fell asleep during the session or something like that?
I mean, I'm cursed with like not being able to sleep. So like, I'll definitely get like tired and cranky and like just not want to be awake. Like that happened to me earlier today. Where, like I just woke up to do this feeling like dreading in the back of my head, like, fuck, I'm gonna be tired. I have to go back to a session in a couple of hours.
Hey man, we're doing pretty good here though.
No. I'm just saying, like, like that mentality definitely happens. And like I personally haven't fallen asleep in the chair more than like once, maybe twice. But yeah, I mean, it takes a certain type of person to just be able to stay up for days at a time on the artist's schedule to be able to do that. If you have to take the same drugs to be in the same vibe as them, fucking do it. Like, I'm not saying do drugs, but like, I always want to try to be on the same level so I can understand what they're doing. Now, I can't afford to pay $2,000 a day in lean. But like, shit, I want to know what it's like so I can understand what they're talking about. I want to know what it's like to withdraw off that shit once or twice in my life so I like know what the fuck they're going through, why they might be acting a certain way, why they might be saying some shit. So like being able to actually connect with what they're saying or how they're acting can be like an important thing to understanding the artist that you're working with. Now, I'm not saying that has to be with drugs, because I don't know. For all nobody does drugs, allegedly. You know, so it's like
consult your doctor before taking.
Yeah, type shit. I don't condone any of that, but like it's important to understand and be able to vibe with the people you work with, and not be afraid to work with the people that might be just around you that aren't somebody yet, and be able to vibe with them and create. And I think a lot of young engineers and a lot of young producers are just trying to reach out. Like, I don't know how people keep figuring out my fucking email, but like kids send me beats all the fucking time. Like, yo, like I'm a new producer. I think like 21 Savage would sound great on this beat. Like, yo, I want Southside to hear this. Like, bro, like what? Like, go make music with your friends, bro.
Yeah. And I think
like, that's what we all did. Like, look at like Southside and Sonny and Metro and 21 and like Waka Flocka. Like, bro, these guys just were making music with their friends, bro.
Yeah.
I was just making music with my friends, learn how to do everything. Like,
let's address that though, because we've honestly we've had a lot of people come on the show and be like, "Yo, engineers are the cheat code, man. If you get in cool with an engineer, they can play stuff for you." Which I feel like, you know, there's truth to that, but then there's also like going back to exactly what you're talking about, like a producer reaching out to you. Like, obviously, there's no real value exchange right there, because it's not like you're sitting there like, "Damn, this is a perfect 21 beat. This is gonna." You know what I mean?
But the thing is like, I'm coming from 808 Mafia, coming from a producer background, coming from a group of producers. I stay booted up with beats.
Yeah, there's no shortage,
and
especially,
but
even
not
in
just
general.
random shit. I've got lumps, like, you know, like good beats for every fucking occasion.
Yeah,
color coded, put into folders for
Okay.
different feelings. Like, I've got that shit fucking organized.
Yeah,
Because I can't even count the number of times where I've walked into a room and like people expect me to have shit. Like, oh, you Southside's boy, you got beats. Oh, I met you with DY, you got beats. Like, Juice all the time. Yo, pull up beats. And like being able to read the room, what the vibe is, what's the energy going on, what sort of shit are people wanting? Like, are we about to make the fucking hood anthem of 2020, or are we about to make like a love song? Like,
yeah.
reading the vibes, reading the rooms, and then having the stuff, knowing where it is and who made it. Where like I'm not taking beats from people I don't know, but like I'm in a position where everyone that I have beats from is Southside, DY, Wheezy, Metro, Gazin, Palace, KBZ, my boy Stein from Amsterdam. Like, he was like I have this homie named Stein from Amsterdam who he makes like kind of wonky, just funny beats, but like they're tight. And he, at first, when I started working, fucking around with Juice, he was the only person that would give me beats, because everyone else is like, man, I never heard of that kid, bro. Like, I ain't just gonna send beats. And this is like, I'm hearing that from, you know, I'm not gonna say who, but, you know, like people I normally depend on for beats. So then like I go to him like, hey bro, like I'm working with this kid. I think your shit would work really well with him. And he sends me like a 20 pack and we like work on all those beats. And, you know, like as a producer, like you don't want to be too bougie. Like I see Southside all the time, like meeting and like trying to work with, you know, people that no one's ever heard of. And not being afraid to do that. 'Cause, you know, that can really be really helpful for yourself. Like you never know what somebody might do. And then, you know, like fast forward 2 years, like we're with Juice on touring with Nicki Minaj, passed through Amsterdam, and like, yo, Stein, like pull up to the hotel, bro. We're cooking up. Like, come meet Juice finally. Like, and you know, there's some kid in Amsterdam who's getting to, you know, be with an American fucking superstar chilling, cooking up because he wasn't too bougie to send beats to somebody he didn't know based off of me asking like, yo, I think like me reaching out to him for it and just trusting that. But, you know, it's like I was saying, like people expect me to have beats. So I just make sure to stay loaded up with them. There's been times where like I'm with Juice and we got to Young Thug studio and, you know, having a relationship with Thug, you know, he's like, Maxwell, I know you got a beat, bro. Come on, find a beat. And then like literally being able to go click on the first fucking beat because I've listened to all of them. I've color coded them. I know what vibe they are. The very first one is one they make a song to and it comes out on Juice's album. It was that On God song. DY made it.
That's a talent right there.
So like being able to read the room and know what you have is really fucking important.
So you're low key like an A&R for beats?
Indirectly, yeah. Like that.
And there's some DJ
happened.
skills in there too, because you're reading the room.
And being able to read the room, that's an old DJ skill.
Yeah.
That's why I say just paying attention to everything over time is how you are able to like, you know, operate and be confident in your abilities. You know, it's not even just experience, but just paying attention to other people's experiences. Just even if you're just in the room, if you're not doing something, just being able to like take mental notes.
Mm-hmm.
Why would something work or not work? Why would something be the right thing to do? Why would something be the right beat to play? Why would that, you know, because for a lot of engineers, it's like they're going to, you know, a lot of rappers are going to like be digging through their phone to try to find beats, or like their actual A&R from the label is going to be, you know, trying to link them with certain producers, or they might have a session with a producer, whatever it is. And then my situation is just a little bit different, just from the, you know, having met everyone with Southside. They just expect me like, hey, you got Southside beats, or you got TM beats, or whoever it is, like, and, you know, having them, staying in touch with everybody, being able to go to a session with an artist and be like, oh, y'all haven't been able to get in touch with Wheezy? Hey, bro, come on, please send a pack, bro. You know, I bet. And then getting it sent over, or just texting them like, you know, I might text a producer like, if we're in a session and someone's like, we're looking for beats and we can't find what we're looking for. If the stuff they had wasn't it, like, you know, I'll sit there and text somebody like, yo, like, need this kind of beat. Like, do you have anything right now? And then it'll be 3 a.m. Maybe they'll answer and send some shit over, and it might be what we needed.
So it seems like you kind of just explained to me that it's not so much about transactional relationships with engineers. Like, well, I did this for him, I provided value,
that shit's
so
whack as
I'm
hell.
expecting him to do this. It's kind of just like,
but there's a lot of that happens.
Yeah.
And that shit's bogus to me.
Yeah.
Like it's just not like authentic.
Yeah.
Like I didn't come here to do shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be on some transactional interactions. Like at the end of the day, I want to make music with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, sometimes it's work and I might not like be that close to somebody, but like I still want it to feel like, you know, I don't want to be in just some transactional little.
Yeah. You want to be.
That's
like,
a perfect word for it.
You're like, man, I want, like, it's got to be like, man, let me hit my boy up. Like, it's that vibe. It's not like, well, this kid just did a favor for me, so he's top of mind. It's not like that. It's not transactional.
Not at all. Like even with like KBZ, like I don't like he would be in like my DMs and shit, or like I might have hit him up. I don't even remember, like 2 years ago. And like, you know, he like sent me some beats and I like was listening to him like, oh, this is actually kind of fire. Juice might like this sort of shit. And then like called him, talked to him, got to know him before going in to play the beats, because like I didn't know him. So like I want to at least talk to before I do that. Make sure you're not going to be on some weird shit because, you know, the music is good. It's right. It fits. So, you know, it turned out that like Juice's managers ended up trying to plug us in with KBZ like a year and a half after we had already done a bunch of songs on his beats, just from, you know, the producer world of just like talking to different producers, being sent shit, you know? So it's, you know, being on the lookout for people that are dope, but like, you know, not being afraid to reach out to people, talk to people, get to know them, because you want to make sure the process is going to be smooth. You don't want to, you know, pull up a beat from somebody that's then going to try to like hit that label for like $250,000 for the beat. Like, and everyone's going to be pissed off. And I've seen that shit happen, unfortunately, and had that happen.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you just got to make sure whoever you're choosing to work with in those situations is like gonna be cool to work with. So, because, you know, sometimes people aren't always cool in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, because you don't even know if a song's gonna come out most of the time. So like, you know, it's just when people get kind of big headed, it'll definitely be like a roadblock in the process. But yeah, it's definitely, for me, it's been important to stay booted up with beats always. But people expect that of me, so try to do that for sure.
So man, before I get out of here, man, let's talk about big picture, man. You know, maybe a long-term goal. Maybe it's not as long-term, but what's going on with you, big picture? Maybe it was from a revelation you had in eating mushrooms in Colorado.
Man, I want to be able to just live on a ranch someday, man. Have some fucking goats and horses and all that shit, like, and a studio. Like, I've actually been, Rex Kudo has been like working over at like Rick Rubin's house, which has like a crazy ass studio. It's like on the beach, and it's just like a fucking vibe over there. And like, I want to be able to be on some shit like that, where like still involved in making music, even if I'm old man, like having a space and like a studio environment where people can come work. Cause like, you know, coming from dubstep, like Rex has been over there like with Skrillex for the last like month. And it's like, that shit's so wild to me to be able to go like hang out and make music with Skrillex. Like, you know, that might not mean a lot to a lot of producers that might watch this, but that's like I didn't know who Southside was when I met him. Like, I looked up to Skrillex. He was the shit. So like getting to meet him and work with him is like, yo, this is fucking crazy. Like that's where I got that moment. It wasn't with Southside. Like Southside was just like, that's my boy. That's whatever. So I just think being able to like create environments like that is special. And I used to have that at like an old house I had that had a studio where, you know, people would always roll through. And I think having creative environments that are kind of melting pots is like really important just for the continuation of the culture. That's how McConan, 21, Sonny Digital, Southside, Young Thug, all those guys were like, and Alex Toomey, you know, from engineering side, I think, I don't know if it was Main Street Studios or Triangle, like some shit in Atlanta, Hot Beats, Hot Tracks, some shit. Like that was one of those just like melting pots of a studio environment, of like a space where history got made. And the right people were able to be at the right place at the right time. And I think going into the future, I want to be able to have a place that's the right place that people can be at the right time and continue to like push sound forward. Because at the end of the day, I think making music is fucking a really cool phenomenon, and being able to help progress everything forward is like, at the end of the day, all I really want to be able to do. whether it's like a monetary thing or just a cultural thing. It's like, I want to be able to help further that down the road. So, you know, try to figure out how to run it up enough right now to be able, buy a piece of land out, whether it's back in Colorado, but like build a fucking crazy ass studio at it.
Yeah.
Have people come out there. It's like the shit they've been doing in Wyoming.
Kanye shit.
Like
man.
with some Kanye shit.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of place that I'm from. That's the, like when they're going out and with trucks and dirt bikes and ATVs and all, like, that's like my normal home life.
Mm.
And like, you know, clearly people are going out and seeking that to be in a creative environment. You know, like it'd be cool to have something in LA because everybody winds up here.
Yeah, it's a destination. Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of people know me. So many people think I live in Atlanta. People think I'm an Atlanta engineer.
Uh-huh.
Like, no.
You out there a lot or no?
Not these days.
Yeah.
But like everyone I work with is from Atlanta, but it would be like when they were out here.
Mm.
You know, I'd go down there sometimes, but everybody's out in LA essentially.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to have something like that here. But, you know, big picture in the long run, I just want to be able to be on some shit that like Rick Rubin's doing right now. Cause he's putting people in rooms that are like, you know, pushing boundaries and going against the grain of what a genre is.
Yeah. And
creating the space for people to do that in.
I think that's a big a gem to highlight there too, of having a space. You know what I mean? Like even if you're not even necessarily part of the creativity, there's a lot of you can start building relationships and getting shit moving. I'd say pretty quick by having a space and, you know, doing your networking and having that place like a place that people know they can fall into at the end of the night and work in, like, you know, a destination out here, you know what I mean, type shit.
Yeah, like I've been like going and working, doing sessions, and then at like 2 a.m, driving out to fucking Malibu to go pull up on them over there, because like Rex Kudo doesn't fucking sleep, and he doesn't let anybody sleep that's around him, and they just stay up for like fucking 5 days at a time.
Yeah.
Burnt as fuck, making what at the time seems like what are we even working on? And then like you hear it a couple of days later and it's like it's not even like rap music. It's like just good music. And like a cool thing that happened with that is one of Juice's best friends, his name is Carlton or CJ, was like this dope ass guitar player, just, you know, like a good natured kid from Chicago that he grew up with. And you know, Rex, like, after Juice passed, Rex, like, was like, hey, like, come back out to California. Like, come help me, like, work on some music. Like, you're dope at playing guitar, all this. Like, I want to try to keep this little family we had together. And, you know, bringing that dude out, having Skrillex over there working with, like, Bobby Raps and Corbin, Spooky Black, and, you know, I'll pull up over there and just having like just little melting pots of and like Zakari's been over there. He did a lot of shit with Kendrick. Like just being in these like kind of eclectic. Oh, and then like the keyboardist and bassist from like the Black Crowes. This dude Adam, he's like probably 50 years old. Like
shit.
Going and doing like live Moog synthesizer bass parts on all these songs, working on an MIA album. Like, it's just super eclectic and really cool to be a part of. And that's just some shit I just rolled up to after being at some super hood session before that. And then it's like driving out to Malibu to do that. And it's like those spaces that exist of people kind of pushing against boundaries is like what pushes music as a whole forward. And being able to contribute to that is something that I've always tried to do and want to continue to do in the long run, and especially in the future. Because, like, you know, music always evolves, always changes, and always grows into some shit that we don't know exists yet. And we gotta, as producers, as engineers, as artists, figure it out. Like, you know, they're having Sway Lee pull up over there making just cool music. With Juice, we were just making cool music. It wasn't any genre.
It's like make dope music, and we'll worry about the marketing. We'll worry about the
yeah,
Spotify
and
all that
at
shit
the end of the
after.
day, it's like that's the true essence of like good music. You know, sometimes you want to be able to feel some struggle in there or whatever, but you know, that's a story that gets told on some music, and other times it's like, as far as producing goes, it's like, what can we do that we haven't done yet? What haven't we tried? What have we been too scared to do? What have we not thought was right? Let's try it, because you know it might be right. So I just hope to see, you know, other people, younger kids starting out, you know, maybe people that watch this that like, you know, aren't like the people that are on the show, to, you know, just not be scared to like work with the people around you. Just try shit like always. That's how I got here. That's how a lot of people got here. And no one really got here by like starting out with the top people, sending beats to fucking Kendrick Lamar. Like, it's just not how you start. Like, I'd say the first like rap project, or like halfway serious rap project I worked on, was with like my homies I was living with when I first moved out here, like Wax and Hush. Who Wax is like MC Ren's son. Hush is like just a dope producer. We were over with like Borgor, like kind of doing EDM stuff, but like making rap music and like just trying to make different stuff just for no reason, just to put out on SoundCloud. And, you know, being with them and just working with the people around me just evolved into everything I've been able to do. Being able to have a fucking Grammy, being able to, if I ever decide to order them, have like a fucking like 100 plaques to be able to put on the wall. Like, that shit's so insane to me, but it's like, I don't forget that all that came from not trying to do any of it at all.
And that's the beauty in it for sure.
Like, I didn't ask to be an engineer. I didn't ask to, like, I wasn't even making beats. I think I had my computer stolen like some years ago and like wasn't even making beats. And then like one day when Southside was over, when I didn't even know him that well, he was like, "Hey, you make beats?" I'm like, "I mean, like I used to, like I haven't really been into it recently." He's like, "Bro, like what are you doing? Like make me a beat to rap on." And then made some shit and he's like, "Bro, the fuck is this? Why don't you make beats, bro? Like make beats with me. Like make me beats. Like I want to rap on this shit. This shit's crazy." Because he was never scared to try different kinds of beats. And that's one thing I think Southside as a rapper is so fucking cool, is he will rap on fucking anything. So like, and is talented enough to do that. So like, if it wasn't for Southside, I wouldn't currently be making beats. You know, that's all because he was like, "Bro, make beats for me to rap on. Bro, this shit's good. Like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you making shit for me? Like, why aren't we like collabing on beats? Why are you not doing that?"
Right.
And having that push from him and like that kind of support that, you know, it's like people are nice. People want to see people win, like, and try and be the best that they can be. And like, you know, it's not a competition, like just to try to make music, be good and appreciate what you have around you. So yeah, just if there's anything to take away, I just, you know, want it to be that. Show.
Most definitely, man. Hey, man, we appreciate the gems, man. Dope story. A lot of good gems. I think this is definitely one to run back for sure for the people watching, especially, you know, if you have aspirations of being an engineer or really, man, anything, any part of this business. Man, for let people know where they can go and tap in with you on IG. Do you like when people send you loops and shit, or not really?
It's not really, because it's like if you're making dope loops, make dope beats, and then, you know, work with the people that might live in your area. Reach out to people that might need them. Don't like try to suffocate people with your shit, but like the more organically you can work with the people around you, the better off you're going to be, because you can't just go and join a winning situation. Like they already got there with their people that they got there with.
I've heard a lot of people say that too.
Because the truth. So like, or if you want those people to hear about you, you got to be doing your own thing. You got to be getting your own little buzz, and it's not easy, but the easiest thing you can do is just like not doubt the people around you. You know, like so many gifted musicians come from the middle of nowhere, come from fucking bumfuck Indiana or like Texas or wherever, you know? So, you know, like I've said there's been like 3 times where I've gone to my email and seen someone or my Instagram trying to send loops and listen to it, and they would be dope, and then like call a person, FaceTime them, talk to them, and get to know them before I would even think of using it, just because like I don't want them sending it to a bunch of different people. Like, did you send this to me, or did you send this to fucking everybody you could think of? Like, because like the personal relationships are just like so much of it, when it's like, bro, you know, like I make melodies too to make beats out of, you know? But yeah, I just don't want to see people lose sight of the bigger picture of like, you gotta, you know, make music for yourself too, or, you know, yeah, you gotta build what you can. So, yeah.
And what's your IG for them to go and tap in?
It's just Max Lord 808 Mafia. Pretty easy to find. But yeah, because like I've got probably thousands of like requests of like, and like getting tagged and like
I can imagine.
beat making, like people that make beats, like posting them and like tagging like everyone at 808 and all that shit. And it's like, you know, I'll go and look at them and listen to them and shit sometimes. And it's like, dope. But it's like, man, everyone and their mama is selling beats on BeatStars and like, yo, I'm 16 producer, buy my beats, right. 250 beats. Like, bro, I've never asked money for a beat before. Like, I've never gone in trying to get an advance. I really just trying to make music. And like, you know, it's just funny. You see like 15, 16-year-old kid, and it's like, yo, buy beats from me. Like, check out my beat store. And it's like, bro, just go like work with some people. Like, no one wants to just go buy a beat for like $200 from somebody for no reason. Like,
well, I know, but I don't know about that approach.
I just haven't seen that, you know?
Yeah. I don't know about that approach though. That's definitely not
like
approach.
I just don't think that's the illest approach. And it's like, you know, from someone that hasn't really put in any time in actually doing it, to just instantly be like, I need to be paid for my time, like for my
don't
beat.
have that pride. Don't have that pride.
Yeah, it's like, bro, come on, like just work with people. Like I've been doing this for like a fair amount of time now, bro. Like I don't even try to charge people for beats, bro. I'll just work with somebody, you know? So, yeah, all advice to everyone all the beat makers that are trying to do that hustle, like, man, just work with that kid that like freestyles in the lunchroom at your school, man. Like, go chop it up with him, type shit. You know, that'll probably help get you moving a lot faster.
And shit, just working with artists too, like it definitely affects how you make beats, and you know what I mean, just it can help you learn and shit too, for sure.
Absolutely.
On top of, you know, growing and stuff.
You should be learning every day.
Most definitely.
Through whether it's whatever you're trying to do, or reading or studying or watching fucking YouTube tutorials. Like, there's so much information out there that like you're sitting, like, why are you sitting on Instagram looking at what other people are doing instead of like studying your own craft? get better at what you're doing. Go fucking learn about compression. Go learn about EQing. Go learn about mastering process. Like there's so much stuff that you could
nerd out. You gotta
be
nerd out.
educating yourself with that could really help you out in the long run.
Yeah, I think that goes back to the passion, man.
Yeah.
Like, so full circle. You know what I mean? The passion is everything.
Pretty much.
Shit, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry I was kind of burnt out. We started. I'm gonna go back to bed.
Nah, man. Yeah, you're good, man. I think sometimes those are the perfect times to catch people, man.
For you.
Appreciate it, bro. Another dope episode, man. Signing out.